Hey everybody, it's Douglas from Project Fresh here, and I love getting technology to work for you and not the other way around. I think it's incredibly important as we become more efficient with our work thanks to AI that we don't just cram 10 times as much work in, but we actually leave time for some of the things that we love in life, want to do, whether that's spend more time with your family, learn the ukulele, or write that book that you've always wanted. So to that end, I am all about automations. And what I want to share with you today is, first of all, a little bit of an idea of how to begin thinking about how to work with the AI. You don't have to transform your entire organization into an AI-centric organization overnight. It's way easier to think about it in a piecemeal approach by considering all the tools that you currently use, and that's all your subscriptions, all your platforms, but also your workflows themselves, right? And so you need to kind of get out. I joke with my clients that the first step of working with AI is a mindfulness practice. You need to get out of the stress of your everyday such that you can see and start to analyze your processes. And that's how you would then get help from an assistant. You would have to give them a series of steps. Well, if you can do that, if you can begin to become really clear on your processes and how they kind of unfold, then you can begin to even think about how you can leverage existing tools or AI to do that work on your behalf. So one thing you can think about is start to just think, what are the tools or what are the tasks that are repetitive? What's the mundane part of my job? What's tedious? Where are there opportunities and where are there bottlenecks? And so look, if you can think about shaving off an hour out of your week, an hour out of your day, that adds up to, a lot of time in a month. So I love working with clients on this kind of thing. I love helping them map their issues and start to think about workflows. So I'm going to show you just a couple of fun examples of things that I've done for myself, almost more as a hobby. I'm going to start you off with one hobby, or it's just more of like a fun thing to look at. And then the other is going to be an actual really useful tool. We're not going to go too deep, but I do want to show you a little bit of the tool I use. So let's jump in. This first tool, and it looks a little complex, but I'm going to walk you through it, is called Make.com, and it allows you to string together these modules. And in this case, this is my AI newsletter to mini podcast and email summary. What it does is every day it looks at my a label that I've created in Gmail that automatically puts my favorite newsletters in there. It looks at them all and it gets all of them here. It gets a little intro and outro of things that I want to write. It builds a summary with all of the raw newsletter text. It sends it off to AI where it actually creates a simple news summary where I can actually have two things. I can have an email, which I'll show you in a second, an audio podcast, as well as an email that's very simple. So it runs it through. I've cloned my voice with 11 Labs. It then creates a new Google document that's temporary, really just to build the email from. It also adds not just news summaries, but to the email that it sends, it will include tools and jobs, which I don't include in the audio summary. And so what we've got next is it removes a little bit of formatting and then it shoots me an email. So what does the email look like? Well, it looks like this. So my Project Fresh AI news and mini podcast for Wednesday, July 10th. And as you can see, it's a really great, simple list of the news from the day and the links to the articles. Very simple. I could put graphics, but for right now, it's literally just text. All the tools that are mentioned that I can quickly just breeze through and see if any are relevant to my business, and then as well as jobs. If I'm looking for jobs, it's always fun to just see kind of what's available out there in the AI space. So I created that newsletter for myself, and then I was like, well, how about one step further? I might not even have time to read my newsletters today. What if it could get sent a nice little audio mini podcast that I could listen to while I brush my teeth? And so I created this with my cloned voice. So let's take a listen. Good morning, my AI curious amigos. It's Douglas from ProjectFresh.com bringing you the latest AI news for today, Wednesday, July 10th, 2024. The OpenAI Startup Fund and Thrive Global have announced Thrive AI Health, a hyper-personalized AI-powered health coach. So as you can see, that actually sounds quite a lot like me. I didn't do anything there. At 9 a.m., I just got this email that's reading me the news from the day, which is, I thought, really cool. So that's the first example of something that I wanted to share with you just for it solved a little bit of my problem. Instead of reading through all my newsletters, often half an hour, I can get this one to really breeze through just to make sure I'm staying on top of things. But you could imagine doing that also with personal emails, summarization specific client emails or really important emails. You could even look at those emails and set yourself tasks. You could trigger all sorts of things, because basically what Make does is there's a trigger action. That could be someone fills out a form, that could be a new email comes in, or that could just be once a day, like my podcast summary or my newsletter summary. So it just it depends. There's a trigger, there's an action, and there's the result. Okay, so let's get into the second one. I love to post news articles about AI, and I try to post one every day. Sometimes I might have a few that I want to schedule, and other times, because other days I might not do any. But I want to keep that regular because it's important for us to continue to engage people on social, to keep our algorithm alive and all that kind of stuff. So I created this simple form on my website that allows me to get a news article link, a comment I want to write about it. I can choose to attach a photo. I could also choose a stock image created from a search term, or an AI generated image that will automatically pull the information from the article and create kind of an image to represent it. I can give the image credit, and then I can choose any of these platforms, and you'll see it's pretty basic at first: WordPress, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, but then also a video short. So let's roll through how first of all this works and then the result. Okay, so here it's a little bit more of a complex thing, but basically it comes on in here and it creates the image if it doesn't have one. That's this little complex branching arm here. There's conditional statements here, and then it goes through. It gets the image, it gets the blog writing prompt, which is really cool. It's written in my tone. It writes the blog post, it creates hashtags, it formats it correctly, it creates an SEO blog title, SEO well-formatted blog title, and then it goes off down these branches. And so if I've checked Instagram, it goes down here and schedules it in my buffer. If I've done a tweet, it goes down here. Here's the blog post. Here is the little video YouTube short, which I'll show you in a second, which is really cool. But basically it clones my voice and it sends it to a template, and it combines the voice and my graphic and a little bit of text into a video. I'm testing to see how effective that is, but we'll see. And then obviously the Facebook too. So let's see the results of one that I just did. So here's my blog, and without ever even going into WordPress, I've got this AI breakthrough reconstructing images from brain activity with fMRI scans. So it's taken the image, it's put it up here. Here's my little quote, and here's the blog article written pretty much in my tone of voice that gives a summary, takeaways, benefits, drawbacks, and a question. I always like to leave a question on my blogs, something to think about, and then the link, and then also the image credit. So that's great. And then obviously for LinkedIn, it does a similar thing. Like here you go. Here's my, and it sometimes, like if there's too long for LinkedIn, it can then make it shorter. That's why you have to have like those things, but also those checks in place. But you also have some cool hashtags here and the image, which is neat. So, and then here we've got my Twitter account, and I've actually got a free workshop coming up on AI, which, if you want to find out more of, you can sign up for my newsletter, projectfresh.com. But, and here's the post. It's a short little tweet, because obviously the other one was way too long. And that's how it goes. And then we go to the last on the list was the YouTube shorts. And so again, you can do really advanced things. If there's not a budget issue, you could make this with stock video. You could even have a speaking avatar of you, maybe in the bottom corner, or even the full screen, talking about this news article. Really cool. I know how to do that. I looked into pricing, and it's a little bit cost prohibitive. It can be as much as like a couple of dollars a day or more, sometimes like $5 a video. And unless it's an amazing amount of engagement, I think that could be cost prohibitive for smaller clients, but larger clients, absolutely, no problem. That's the drop in the bucket of their social media budget. So, but let's take a look at just how I formatted. So again, I created this template. It sends all of that info to the template and then automatically posts it to my YouTube. So let's see with my clone voice. A new AI can read your mind and recreate images you've seen with impressive accuracy. Researchers used fMRI scans and deep learning algorithms to achieve this. The AI interprets brain activity and then generates the visual image you were looking at. All right, so regardless of the content, you might think that's a little creepy. There's probably some really wonderful therapeutic benefits for it, but also some definite potential for big brothery kind of concerns, which I mentioned in my comment. Anyway, so that was a video just to show you a little bit. What we talked about was, first of all, how to start thinking about your work in terms of a series of linear steps that you can begin to chart. Consider, can I teach this to somebody? If you're able to teach it to an assistant, then you're maybe just a step away for putting that into getting really the technology again to work for you rather than the other way around, so you can go off and go play, pickleball with your kids or whatever you want to do. So all that to say, I love talking about this stuff. The idea is that if you put that into the flows, you can then use the technology. So start thinking about that. How do you break down your work into flows? You maybe want to chart that with a little flow chart. It doesn't have to be digital. It can be literally on paper. It's like, what is the most awesome way? Another thing I love to do, I'm working on, I'm not going to show it here because it's not finished yet, but if you have standard meetings where you ask the same 20 questions, say an onboarding meeting to a client, you can get that transcript from an AI recording tool like Fathom is the one that I use, but Grain, Read, Otters, Firefly, there's a million out there. Maybe not a million, there's a bunch. But you get the transcript however you get it. You could literally attach that to a form, say this is a deep dive brand consulting meeting, or this is a target audience exploration meeting. It then goes off, it takes that transcript, it then goes off, gets the prompts, and one by one it goes through and asks questions of the transcript, creating a perfectly formatted Google document. And then, you know what else it could do? It could put a draft email in your drafts folder written to that client saying like, hey, here's the results of the meeting, here's the document, let's take a look and schedule the next meeting. You just go into your drafts folder. It could even set you a task being like, hey, there's a new draft in your drafts folder, go check it out and send it, because you want to check what the AI is doing. You don't want to have it be fully automated just yet. But then look, what would have taken hours and probably a lot of hassle, some of these things AI are so good at doing. Summarization, organization in that sense, so good. Sometimes it might get things wrong, say you're doing accounting or math or whatnot, but a lot of times just for your regular stuff, certainly for digital marketing, this tool is amazing and it's only going to get better. So if you want to learn more about this stuff, I do regular AI courses at Mindshare.Nexus. It's my sort of learning portal that where I teach along with a bunch of other experts. And also at projectfresh.com, you can join my newsletter. I also do some regular, somewhat regular free courses as well for folks, and would love to see you. And obviously too, if you have projects you'd like to engage on a consulting level for yourself or your business, we can hop into a consulting call. We can begin to chart that out together, look where there's possible opportunities for you to really reclaim time. So again, you can do the things that you love in life. So thanks again. I'm signing off. It's Douglas from projectfresh.com, and it's been a pleasure. Bye.